Hello! Today I'm going to be filming a photo walk with my Ricoh GR IIIx. But first, let's build a camera.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4!
I've not made a Lego set in a very long time, so that was a lot of fun for me. Anyways, today's video is a photo walk I did with a new action camera, which was kindly gifted to me for my birthday. So the action camera that I've been using is the Insta360 GO3. It's an action camera you've probably seen already online. The main selling point is that the camera module actually comes out and has a magnetic back, so you can put it in some very clever and creative places. I thought it'd be a fun way of testing out this camera by shooting a POV of me building that Lego set. But I also took it out for a photo walk the other day. It was the first time using it in public, so I was a bit nervous using it. So this camera comes with a lot of really cool accessories. It's magnetized at the back, so there's a magnetic pendant that comes in the box with it. You wear it around your neck and clip it to your shirt. So that's what I used for my photo walk. I really enjoy watching photo walk POV videos on YouTube, but I didn't realize how scary it is to actually film it yourself. If you do street photography, you know that just taking photos of people or in public spaces can be a bit daunting. You don't want to come across as weird or that you're doing something dodgy. So having two cameras made it even more stressful. I went to visit my parents for the weekend and we went to a botanical garden. I thought this would be a good place to test it out because there wouldn't be too many people. But again, enough people and I could keep a good distance. And all the photos in this video are shot with the Ricoh GR IIIx. Now, I know in my last video I said that I don't really want to get involved in the hype of trending cameras, but I have to admit this is really, really fun to use. I didn't take any video footage whilst I was at the entrance of the gardens just because there were so many people and I was a little bit nervous. I didn't want to stop longer than I needed to, just wanted to carry on walking. I really like this opening shot with the shadows in the background of the people, the fact that it's a mobility scooter and then the contrast with someone walking in the mirror. I just thought it was an interesting framing opportunity there. So I came across these plants. I don't really know what they're called. But I thought they were really interesting, kind of barbed wire shaped. I stuck around for a bit because I wanted to play around with it and see what I could get. It was a very busy background. What I decided on was shooting through the loops of this plant as a way of subframing. So I managed to get a few shots here of these birds. So I kept bumping into this couple in the park, and the first time I saw them, I was really taken back just by how bright their jackets were. The husband was wearing a red jacket and the wife was wearing a green one. I thought they complemented each other really well and really stood out in the scenes. I was a bit nervous about taking photos of them, so when I first spotted them, I tried to take a quick panning shot, but obviously it didn't really work out. But luckily enough, I did keep bumping into them and there's a nice surprise later on. What was really funny is when I was taking pictures at the barbed wire plant, they came by as well and I ended up getting this really lovely shot of them walking. So as I mentioned in my last video, one thing that I do when I'm struggling for composition is to look for matching colours in a scene. So I saw these red reeds in the ground and in the background there's some sort of electricity supply which is also red. So I thought it would be quite interesting to kind of capture them together, how you've got again the contrast of nature and technology. So yeah, not the most interesting shot, but again it was just something just to help warm me up a bit. So I came across this pond where there were some geese, swans, I'm not really sure what they are, were swimming in the pond. There were some nice reeds on the side and there were a lot of people looking over, so I thought there'll be loads of opportunities to get some nice photos here. I was trying to find interesting framing opportunities, so I thought the reeds would be a really good way of kind of framing the side of the photo. In the pond there were loads of koi fish kind of coming up to the surface to say hello, and I snapped this photo here. I'm not really sure how I feel about this photo. It's a little bit scary. I'm quite drawn to shadows, and I spotted this house with the branches of the trees coming down onto it. I thought it looked really nice, and it had these small little flowers in the foreground. Tried to get down low, tried to play with perspective a bit, and thankfully there was a really nice bright subject walking past. Came across this secret garden within the gardens, and I thought this was a nice opportunity to play with the highlight metering option, and I thought I had a good opportunity here to capture some interesting light. Whilst this isn't a particularly interesting scene, I was really drawn to this central circle of light here, and I think the highlight metering mode just made it so much easier to highlight this. Walking along, I spotted these petals that had fallen really nicely onto the bench and floor, and I thought again this would be a really good contrasty scene with the red and the browns. Again, using the highlight metering mode, I think we've got some really nice shots here. Okay, so now I mentioned that I kept bumping into that couple. This interaction was really cute. So I saw this bush first, which again was really beautiful, a lot of red and green, and just by luck that couple seemed to walk past. I was trying not to take photos really overtly of them, but they ended up stopping me and having a chat with me first. Yeah, it matches what you're wearing. It was a really wholesome moment, and I completely forgot that my camera was still recording. I had taken it off my chest and put it in my hand because I didn't feel comfortable recording the conversation, but there's still a little bit of audio that you can hear here.
Do you think we'll ever see a world where everybody just is at peace with one another? Because we're all made of flesh and blood, we're not anything else, are we?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
I think, it's just interactions like this are so lovely, just to stop and chat to people. I think people don't do it that often.
No, don't.
This couple was so lovely and friendly. We had a nice long chat about life, about ourselves, and they even let me take their photo. I think this is the way to perhaps go about street photography, is just be smiley, friendly and open. And I think people will kind of open up to you and be a bit more comfortable with you walking around with a camera. This was my first time taking photos of strangers directly, so I was a bit nervous to kind of direct them on how to stand. Ideally, I perhaps would have got them to stand a little bit forward just so there's a bit more distance between them and the background, but it was still a really nice memory and a nice picture either way. So as I was walking around, I noticed there was this really cool van, which was actually a coffee van, and I thought, I'm going to get some good photos here. This is probably one of my favourite photos of the day. I really just like the framing. You've got the reflection of the mirror, you've got the reflection of the glass. You can kind of get the context of the scene as well with the tables outside and the caravan door, so I just thought it was a really cool shot. So the last part of my photo walk was through the greenhouse, and at the moment the greenhouse was doing a Jurassic plant exhibition, so there were lots of interesting plants there and some interesting dinosaur structures. The greenhouse was quite fun to photograph because so many people were photographing there. I didn't feel like I stood out very much. And also there were loads of interesting framing opportunities through the plants and things. Because it was a greenhouse and a lot of the plants needed a higher temperature or more humidity, there was a lot of steam, and I got some really cool shots here of the steam and the light. I really like this shot in particular, but I wish there was a person there just to make it feel a bit more cinematic and give it a bit more of a narrative. I was feeling quite sweaty at this point, so that's why I didn't stick around and wait for that to happen. I really like this photo here of the little boy looking at the hippo in the water. I think the framing is really fun of them kind of at the diagonal ends of the photo, almost having a face-off. In this walkway there were these fake dinosaur ribs that you'd have to walk through, and it was a really cool way to frame this plant pterodactyl thing. I really like this photo of the blue man, the blue guy, the man in blue, in the frame. Again, a very interesting, very simple, basic composition, bang in the middle. I was really interested by the plumbing system in the greenhouse. Lots of bright colours here, very kind of steampunky, kind of made me feel like I was in a factory, and I guess it kind of is. But again, really interesting to see this industrialized equipment amongst nature, so I thought these photos were interesting for that perspective. At this point I was feeling quite hot, so I left the greenhouse, but I thought actually you could get some really cool photos outside looking in through the kind of fogged up windows. Unfortunately, it was really difficult for me to get a shot that I liked here. These are a few that I took. I just felt a bit nervous now because again, this made me feel a bit uncomfortable taking photos from the outside in. It seemed a bit more suspicious, a bit creepy, so I kind of stuck around for a little bit, but I wasn't making much progress, so I thought, let's scrap the idea. Whilst I was doing this photo walk, my parents were elsewhere in the gardens. I didn't want to slow them down, so I just told them I'm going to walk off, take some photos and catch up with them. So when I finally caught up with them to get some coffee, I saw this amazing shot, and this is probably my favourite shot of the day. So lucky to get this close to the pigeon without it flying away. So I'm really grateful for that. I think this photo is so funny. I like the matching colours of the orange beak against the food and the wrapper in the background. So again, really lucky that all these things kind of lined up. That was my first POV photo walk. If you liked it, then of course like it. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and I'm on Instagram @filmfauxtos if you want to see more of my street photography. Thank you very much for watching.